Do you get a little sweaty? Do you get a little awkward? Do you get a little clammed up when you are around friends or a large group of people that you don't know, or even just simply going to the grocery store? If so, you're in the right place. Hello, my beautiful friend. Welcome to my channel. I'm Grace and I'm a self-love coach. Today's video is going to be all about social anxiety. I'm going to be sharing with you my experience with social anxiety, what I've learned along the process. And stick around because at the end of the video, I have some tips for you guys that have really helped me with my social anxiety. So how many of you guys can relate to this? You're going to some kind of social event and you've done the mini check-in and you have found that this is in alignment with actually what you do want. And when I say social event, I mean anything that involves being around other people. And as you're preparing to go out the door, you have all these thoughts running through your mind like,
oh my god, what if I'm super awkward? What if I say something that I don't know, people aren't gonna like me, they're all gonna hate me, I'm gonna die, social rejection means death, ah!
I feel you, my friend, I feel you. So my journey with social anxiety has really evolved over the last 5 or 6 years or so. At the lowest point of my journey, when I had hit rock bottom, even something simple like going to a grocery store would induce this overwhelming feeling of anxiety to the point where I used to get daily panic attacks. Especially when I was going to college and I was studying so much, I would get panic attacks on the regular. So if you're experiencing something like this, know, number one, that you are not alone. And number two, that this debilitating state of mental dis-ease can be healed. So let me start with a little story for you. The other day, after getting all my coaching work done and doing all that wonderful stuff, I needed to relax. So my friend and I decided to go out and do a little hike in nature, and we came across this area where we were hiking that were water towers that were full of graffiti art. Now, I love art of all kinds, and personally, I've always wanted to try graffiti art, just never had the opportunity. So my friend and I are walking towards the graffiti art, and we see these two artists that are doing graffiti as we speak. My friend, now, he thrives off of interacting with people and gains energy from the social interaction. Myself, on the other hand, I'm a little bit of an introvert. So my friend, he goes to me,
I am meant to talk to these people. We have to go talk to them.
Of course, outwardly, everything was fine. And that's the thing with social anxiety, right? On the external, everything appears to be okay. No one can really even tell that we're having those sweaty palms and weird butterfly feelings in our stomach and that our mind is raging, going, oh my God, people, what do I do now? So as we're walking up to these wonderful graffiti artists to strike up a conversation, my me-to-me conversation basically is like,
oh my god, we can't do this. This is gonna end in disaster. We have to alert our friend immediately so that we can get ourselves out of the situation immediately. Relax, it's gonna be fine. You've always been curious about graffiti art. This could be an amazing opportunity for you. Screw what anyone else might think. It doesn't matter anyway. They'll probably forget about you in the next day or two anyway because everyone has the attention span of a butterfly these days. But what if they judge me? What if I'm really terrible at graffiti art? What if I can't do any of these things that I actually want to do and social rejection means death? Alright, self, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a deep breath. We're gonna count down from 5. And then we're going to let go of all the self-judgment that is happening here.
so guess what? I did it. We talked to these people, I made conversation, we made beautiful graffiti art together, and it was such a wonderful, opening, connective learning experience for me. And the second part of this hangout session with my friend was these beautiful graffiti artists were playing music, and my friend was really grooving. He wanted to teach me how to dance kizomba, which I had never done before. Mind you, I love to dance. I think it is such an ecstatic expression of feminine energy, and I feel really good in my body when I do it. However, there is a caveat. I only like to dance alone. And here's why. When I dance alone, I can be as crazy, as wild, as sensual, as playful as I want to be with my own self. However, when I'm around other people, I freeze up. My brain goes into panic mode. What the social anxiety is doing is trying to control other people's perception of you in order to feel safe, in order to feel socially safe. Sound familiar? So my friend is teaching me this dance and I'm having a lot of fun, and in my brain I'm like,
oh my gosh, I totally just bumped into him. Oh no, I'm not following his lead. Oh no, everything is happening. What am I doing? Ah, social death.
Once I had that me-to-me conversation, I was able to really calm my nerves and to understand that, hey, no one is judging you as harshly as you are judging yourself. And when I brought this conversation up with my friend after the experience to thank him for allowing me to explore beyond my comfort zone and embrace the discomfort, right? Because that is necessary for growth. What I found was that he didn't even realize that this was the internal chaos that I was having inside of myself. So for those of us who experience social anxiety, it can be really reassuring to know that most people aren't actually going to be that aware of what's going on within you. Now, I know that doesn't really help us in the moment, right? However, if we can make that mindset shift by identifying that core belief we have about what it means to be in a social situation, then we get one step closer to resolving and healing what is causing this social anxiety in the first place. And I began to recognize that this really came from a form of control. What do we do when we feel unsafe and anxious? We want to establish some semblance of control in the external environment that can help us to feel safe. And the root cause for this type of desire to establish control has to do with a core belief. And this core belief was that social rejection means death. Now, we can see exactly why this could be problematic. So how did I start my healing journey with the social anxiety that I was prone to experiencing? The first tip that I have for you guys is to disidentify with this anxiety, whether that's social anxiety or generalized anxiety. A lot of the times, what we hear in the mental illness industry is that you are an anxious person. This is a part of your identity, this is who you are, and there's nothing you can do to change it. Obviously, by now, I have discovered that this is not true. And the human body, the human mind, the human spirit has such an amazing capacity to heal. Most of the time, the body does this on its own. We just gotta get out of the dang way. So for me, disidentifying with this belief started with the verbiage that I was using to describe my anxiety, to describe myself. So instead of saying, I am an anxious person, I began to shift my language into saying, I have experienced anxious tendencies in the past. Now, if you all are familiar with law of attraction, manifestation, all that good stuff, we know that the words that follow I am are incredibly powerful. We are literally creating our reality. We're speaking this truth into existence. So if we become more mindful with how we are choosing to identify with the anxiety, then we can begin to see that this anxiety is just giving us feedback about our current environment and our internal state. The second thing that really helped me along my journey was recognizing that rejection is really not about you not being good enough for someone. So it's not even so much about them not liking you, even if that is indeed the case. What I've come to realize is that rejection is an opportunity. If you show up as your most authentic self and people don't like you for it, great. That is actually a blessing in disguise, my friend, because this opens space for people who actually do resonate with the truth of who you are to come into your life. We don't want people in our lives that aren't going to resonate with the truth of who we are. So if you being your authentic self means that other people are going to reject you socially, that is fine. Let them, because more people are going to come into your life that can truly value and appreciate and love you for exactly the unique magical unicorn that you are. The third thing that really helped me was to develop a personal mantra. So whenever I would feel this social anxiety welling up in my stomach and I felt like I was going to throw up a little bit, I would adopt the mantra, and mine revolved around rejection. So instead of playing the belief in my brain that social social rejection means that no one's going to love you, which means that you're not going to have any connections, which means that you're going to starve emotionally and die, I instead developed a mantra that rejection is simply redirection. Rejection is only redirecting you towards people, towards a path that is more in alignment with who you actually are. So you can shine that beautiful light of yours without reservation, and you can show the world exactly who you came here to be. The fourth thing that has really helped me along my journey is to seek out the discomfort that comes from new social situations. Now, obviously with this one, use it within your discernment. We don't want to put ourselves in a situation where we are so uncomfortable that we are in emotional pain. However, if we can begin to push that boundary of what feels comfortable and stretch our limitations, this is how we grow. It's the same thing like if you were working out, right? You don't want to overdo a workout and injure yourself, but a little bit of pain and discomfort is a good thing. And this journey with embracing social discomfort and actually seeking out situations and putting myself out there really began for me about 3 or 4 years ago, and it was really challenging at first. And the more I began to do it, the more I began to expose myself to other people, I began to realize that the world is a lot safer than I had previously imagined it to be, than I had previously allowed my trauma to convince me that it was. The fifth thing that really helped me to reduce my social anxiety was to shift my perspective on what the social anxiety means about me. For the longest time, I thought I was broken, I thought I was dysfunctional, and then I shifted from that mindset into the I'm too special, right? And a lot of us who identify as empaths might have a challenging time with not absorbing everybody else's energy. I know now for me, that stemmed from a place of disempowerment and not claiming my fullest power and ownership over these beautiful gifts. If you guys are curious about hearing more about how to stop absorbing other people's energy, I've made a video about that and I'll link that right up here and also in the description box below. So the major shift that I made with social anxiety was by taking full ownership, full sovereignty over my energetic state and recognizing that this came from a place of being very unwell mentally. And yes, this came from trauma. This came from the hurtful, painful experiences that I've had in the past. And when you take ownership of these experiences and really begin to adopt the mindset of pronoia, that things are happening for your highest growth, rather than paranoia, that things are happening to you, that is when we can step into our fullest potential. And this is when we can begin to make that tiny incremental shift in the way that we view the world and ourselves. Once I began to come to terms with the fact that, hey, I'm not as empowered as I would like to be, I haven't mastered my gifts and my energy as much as I would like, that gave me a beautiful starting point to begin really working on myself, to begin healing what I needed to heal and releasing what I needed to release, and to acquire new skills along the way. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this was helpful for you. Let me know in the comment section below what your experience with social anxiety has been like and how you would like it to look in the future. If you resonated with this video, don't hesitate to hit that little like button and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this every week. Boop that little bell icon so you can be notified every time I post a new video. Have a magical rest of your day.